For the past year, the Buildings and Grounds Committee has researched solar energy to provide all or most of the electricity at Lord of Life. After reviewing 5 proposals from reliable firms, the committee forwarded the proposal from Harmon Solar to the Church Council, recommending approval. The system would provide all the electricity for our primary meter that covers the sanctuary and office building. The chapel, social hall, classroom, and sign are on separate meters that account for about 1/3 of our energy use and would not be affected. Here are the experiences of 2 nearby churches that installed solar: Peace Lutheran in Peoria and Bellevue Heights Church in Sun City. Please look at solar in the first place.
There was a couple of reasons why we looked at solar. First of all, we wanted to reduce our energy cost, and so we began to explore what would be some of the options in terms of whether purchasing outright or whether there would be a lease arrangement that would work for us. A second thing that we really wanted to be able to do is to be good environmental stewards rather than using fossil fuels to air condition and heat our buildings. We thought that why not make use of the solar power of the Arizona sun. And I think a third reason was that we really kind of thought that this might be a good witness to our neighborhood, that we care enough to engage in an energy efficient form of heating and cooling our campus, and that maybe our neighbors might think that that was a wise thing for us to do.
When did you install it, and how long has it been operating?
About 2 years. And we saw an immediate reduction in our energy fuel costs. The projections were that most likely over the first 10 years until there's a balloon payment that we would save hundreds of thousands of dollars, but after 10 years when we would purchase it outright for ourselves, that our ultimate savings would be over $1 million over the life of the solar panels.
So you opted to go for a lease as opposed to purchasing it outright?
Yes, and again, I know that some of the rules have changed here in Arizona since we were able to make our lease arrangements, but yes, the lease arrangements, first of all, they provided us the insurance that if anything goes wrong with the system, that we're not the ones who have to pay for repair, but that the agency through whom we worked would be doing that. Secondly, it just gave us a less expensive buy-in initially. And we looked at it and said that by the time the lease comes to its 10-year balloon payment, that then we would be able to, the savings that we have recouped from using this system would allow us then to buy it out, and then we would just basically be pocketing all the savings after that. So it just made good economic sense for us.
In the 2 years that's been operational, have you had problems with it? How much maintenance has it required?
We have had no maintenance issues. We have over 400 panels on the church. All of our panels are on the roof of our various buildings, and there have been no issues at all with the solar system. In fact, it just kind of sits there and collects energy.
How did the congregation, did they welcome it? Did they accept it? Was there opposition?
No, actually, again, we had a group of people who were pretty knowledgeable about the ins and outs of the solar industry, so they were kind of our team that worked with the leasing agent, and so they put together a very thorough packet that kind of explained what were the costs and benefits. They also had explored working with different agencies and outright purchasing it at the beginning for ourselves. And by the time that they had concluded their presentation, it was a unanimous vote.
And what's the feeling today after 2 years?
I think that the congregation, I think the congregation's pretty, in some ways, because again, it just sits there passively on top of the roofs of the church. It's not something that people really take a lot of notice of. But I can tell you that our council is excited because basically the money that we would have been expending on heating and fueling costs are now being able to be utilized for ministry. And so being able to pocket that money and being able to utilize it for other purposes has really made our church leadership very excited.
I think that's all.
Cool.
Do you think of anything else?
No, I will say that I think that it has had a positive impact upon our neighborhood in terms of acknowledging that we are a church that is trying to be sensitive to our environment and trying to be good stewards of the gifts that are given us. And so I think that that has created some positive vibrations for our neighborhood. You know, again, we're kind of like the schools. You know, the schools have all added solar panels to their campuses to try to help save costs. And I think that they see the church doing this as well as being kind of that we're not just, you know, we're not just we are sensitive to future generations, and that's something that we try to market as, that we care about the future generations that are going to inhabit this planet.
So some of the things that will be important is why Bellevue Heights looked at solar in the first place, why you chose Harmon, and what your experience with them has been.
Okay. Where do you want me to start?
Wherever you want to start out.
Well,
Because
it's just like every church now, we, having problems with making the budget, making it balance. And our bill was running, well, between $33,000 and $36,000 a year. So a member of the congregation suggested that we look at solars, and I got elected, I guess, so to speak, or appointed to check into it. So we contacted Harmon and the one that did the solar for the rec centers, and they both submitted bids. And Harmon was quite a little bit lower with a little more output. So we checked them out and went with Harmon. They did a good job of installation. Justin was the foreman, and I would meet with him every morning, and we'd go over what he was going to do. And he was very cooperative as to if we had something going on, he would work around it. So that worked out real well. We've had some problems with the inverters, but they're under warranty. Once in a while, one would drop offline for a few hours and then come back online.
do you remember offhand what your capacity is?
I know
How
exactly what the capacity is, and you can see it right here. I have 2 meters, one for the sanctuary and one for the Franklin Hall. This one is, let me get my glasses on here. That was it. That's for the sanctuary, and we furnished 9,044 kilowatts in the month of April. This is for the Franklin Hall in the office, which is Franklin Hall here. We had 13,810 kilowatts for the month of April. You can keep those if you want.
Okay,
That's just
thanks.
for your information.
Thanks.
This is a bill for this month, just to kind of show you how they bill it, which might be of interest to you, but they go ahead and build it out here. This is, let's see, 3840 kilowatts for the month. Then it goes down in here, and this is the amount of electricity credited. And it goes down here. This has 7,120 kilowatts to our bank. This is how much they had up there. This is taking up here, and then with the bank and everything, we've got 12,880 kilowatts in the bank right at this point. For that one, this one here is about the same, only it's the other one.
And I can see from this your charges for the month on each of the meters, which $300 and $382.
Right. This goes back over here, as you can see. There's their delivery charge. There's more charges that they get to you on their bill.
You can't get around those.
You never get around them. But they monitor your meter every 15 minutes of the day, and when they come up with the demand factor, that's what they charge you. Now, let's see, last month, just for your information here only, it's just, that was yesterday's on one of the, I'm not even sure which one it was.
Mm-hmm.
That was on this building here. And this shows you your inverters. This is one inverter. You can see a little brown spot there, that's the other inverter. Those two inverters follow almost exactly.
Okay.
But that just gives you what's available to you online.
How long has your system been operating?
Since about 13th of January, yeah.
Okay.
Basically 4 months.
So I know it's a little bit hard to figure this early in the year, but is it meeting what the expectation was?
Our highest usage last year was in July of 13,640 kilowatts.
Mm-hmm.
Last month we put 13,810 kilowatts. That's how many we produced.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the highest usage, so we actually produced more than the highest usage last year.
Good. Yeah.
And I was watching air conditioner real close last year, so we'll probably run over that this year, but
Okay.
that's the way it was. And the sanctuary, we produced 9,044. Our highest usage was 6,400.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the end of the year, they buy back the kilowatts that you're over or in your bank if you have any. And I've been told it's 3 cents a kilowatt.
Yeah, the wholesale rate.
Yeah. And if that's true, right now we have about $700 coming back.
Okay.
You know, if it holds up, but who knows?
Yeah, yeah.
But we looked into it, like I said before, and we got bids, and Harman come out the lowest.
Was the congregation, did they accept it? Were they enthusiastic about it? Was there controversy?
Okay, we have my words skip my mind now. A foundation which has quite a little bit of money, and due to one of our past members funded it, and I could only see it if they bought it. So the foundation bought it.
Okay, so like an endowment fund.
Yeah. Right, there was ample funds in there that there wasn't any problem with that. There was, that was the worst we had going through. There were some of them didn't want to spend any money. There were 3 or 4 that thought we, shouldn't be going into solar at all. There was all kinds of problems and that sort of thing. But basically the congregation supported it overall as it goes ahead.
What do they think about the shaded parking?
Well, they like the shaded parking. Now, we had problems with the neighbors after we first turned it on.
Why is that?
Well, it's spoiling their view.
Oh, okay.
So I got 15 trees and planted them out there, and they'll be going up and kind of block their view.
Okay.
And they could see we were trying to work with them, and I haven't heard anything from them
Okay.
since.
Okay.
So you can expect all kinds of things.
Pictures.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you've thought of that I didn't ask about?
Not really. It's not only will save you money in the long run, but I mean the green side of it is a selling point too.
Yeah, yeah. Did the congregation consider that?
Some of them did, yeah.
Yeah. So even if we didn't save money, in the long run, we're doing something for the environment.
Oh yeah, but you'll save money in
But
the long run, as you can see by the bills there that we had.
Good.
I can see clearly